Hello everyone, good afternoon. It is launch day. That's why I'm here. Laura's here as well. You all right?
Yeah, good, yeah?
Yeah, good. Very, very good. And thank you very much to all of you that have bought the bundle already today, because already this has been one of the busiest launches I can remember actually, because the main bundle, nearly half the stock, 45% of the stock has gone in one live show, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And the DL bundle that you'll see, 3/4 has gone as well. So what's it all about today? Every month we launch a brand new collection, and this is it. It's the Beautiful Bundle Collection. Now the Beautiful Bundle Collection is everything you see on the top two steps. And the first thing that when I came in the studio this morning before we came live, I just looked at that. I thought, wow, that's different. That's really, really unusual. I'll show you what that can do in a second. The stack shapes is included. The beautiful bundles in this instance are basically bundles of flowers or bunches of flowers in their vases. Three gorgeous selections of spring-like flowers. You've got your tulips, you've got your daffodils, you've got your beautiful, beautiful, I'm not quite sure what, they could be gerbras, maybe?
You're asking the wrong person.
I know, I just thought I'd chance my arm. You've also got a little nod to newborns as well, which is really good for spring. Obviously, new things are sprouting, new things are growing. So you've got a little new baby theme in this one as well, with the teddy bear, the rattle, the baby grow, little booties too, which is really cute. And then over here, you've got your wonderful rectangular frames in the smaller and the larger size as well, with the little corner brackets, and there's artwork for those too, which I'll talk about in a tick. And over here, delivered safely. So that could be, again, a nod to a newborn baby, or it could be love letters, could be anything at all. You've got a little wax seal stamp there as well, and a little post that you can put in the flowers with a message on as well. So this is the Beautiful Bundle Collection. It's only $99.99. Now, when we do a launch, obviously, we give you a special deal price. Now, that deal price is only valid until Friday or until the stock sells out, and at 45% gone on launch, I don't know how long it's going to last, to be honest with you. It's going to go up by £20 to £119.99 on Friday, if we have any left. But if you want it today, it's under 100, and because you're spending over 50, it's free P&P. We'll get it delivered to your door absolutely free of any charges in the UK. That's 250401, your item number. So that's the main collection, and I'll show you some finished samples of that in a second. And then down here, which goes with it so well, this is the collection that 75% of the stock has gone, 3/4 gone, for the delightful DLs. DL cards just continue to be some of the most popular shaped cards you can make, but here are DLs with a slight difference. You've got the traditional rectangular, you've got the rectangles with the curved corners cut out, and then you've got what looks a bit like a vase shape over here as well. And there's no artwork for these because the idea behind them was that they'd be a block colour. Your coloured cardstock or your perfect papers would be ideal, so that the flowers would pop against a plain background. But you've got them here. All three of these are in the lead. These are looking like they're going to sell out first. They're only $49.99, and that's 250407 if you'd like to purchase those today. And of course, the flowers that are on the background, like a screen, mirror the flowers that are in the main collection, the elemental blooms. So if you want both together, you can order them at the same time. We've got the perfect papers as well to go with it, as we always do. But order now to make sure that you get your delivery quickly. Our delivery this afternoon goes at 2 o'clock. The postman normally arrives here at 2 o'clock to pick up all your orders. So if you've ordered in the earlier show, the chances are it's in the pile ready to be picked up by the postman already. You'll probably have a confirmation email already. If you order in this show, there's a very, very good chance that it will be in that delivery this afternoon as well. Just to show you though some of the finished cards that we've got here, to give you an idea of how the circles and the squares work, for example, Janine Dawson, one of our lovely design team, has done this one. If I just hold that there for a sec, just take a little look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous? It's so unusual.
Yeah, the card shapes, they just look amazing, don't they? You've got such an unusual shape there that draws your eye in straight away. Before you even start decorating your card, you have something really, really unique, and it's just a standout piece that's going to catch somebody's eyes straight away. And there's so many different ways of using them as well. Like, you can use them as the card bases, you could use them as apertures in the cards, you can add more elements onto them if you want to. You can use the mats and layers on the centre bit of these as well to go in to make the actual mats and layers like apertures. There's just so many different ways of using them.
And that's one of the rectangular frames. If I just turn it around, you even get the stand for your frame as well. So you don't have to fork out money to go and buy a wooden or a metal frame. You can actually make it out of the perfect papers really easily.
That's okay. And like that one, you could put like a baby picture in there, or you could put things like that, pictures in them as well. They're great as well if you do like memory books, scrapbooking. You could use them as actual little photo frames and then decorate around those.
I mean, I'm just thinking maybe you've got news of a newborn in the family or something like that, and you've got access to photographs on Facebook. Print that off, put it in a frame, send a congratulations card in the post. Whoever gets it will be so made up.
Oh yeah, that's a nice idea. There's just so many different ways of using them. Even just as mats and layers onto a card, just as a frame, they look absolutely stunning. You can see using them as frames on their own right. They look amazing. Very detailed as well, because you get the artwork as well for those corner pieces. So you can really make them look ornate.
And Pam has actually used the outline of the flowers as the card base itself. So there's lots of opportunities, lots of possibilities with this. Vera Bow, again, of the design team, has done this one. First thing I thought of when I saw those squares, I thought kind of building blocks. Like kids were building blocks in a nursery.
Yeah, you said, but this is the lovely thing, like you were saying earlier, if you've ordered, you know, keep watching the shows to get inspiration.
Yeah.
And that's just like a prime example of how everybody inspires everybody, because I didn't think of building blocks at all, but it's probably because you've seen the teddies and you've gone down that route that you've thought of building blocks. So it's just different ways of looking at them, and there's just so many different ways of using this collection.
Now, before we actually look at the boards to show you exactly what you're going to get, if you want to, at the same time as ordering the collection, go for the perfect papers. As ever, although we call them papers, they are cardstock. It's 300 GSM, 48 sheets of it in there, and all the colours, as you can see, if I just at random pick up a card and hold it against the cardstock, can you see all the colours? Well, actually, who's done this one? Vera Bow. She's actually used the perfect papers as the mats and layers at the background, so all the colours complement. You're not struggling to find coordinating cardstock in your craft room because you've got the perfect papers. And for another $14.99, it makes sense to add it into your order. 250408, that will be sent at exactly the same time as your dies if you order in this show. Laura's got the boards though, so we'll have a little look through.
Yeah, so we'll start off with babies first. So you can see you've got your teddy, you've got that blanket, you've got those adorable boots there as well, and you've got almost like the rattle. They are just, and one of the things I was saying, like the teddy to me, it doesn't scream a baby card. You know, sometimes you can get things that you just think that I'm going to use those for baby cards. Like I can imagine using that for like a first birthday or a second birthday. Or like Dave said, he's still got his teddy from when he was small up in the attic. Minus a leg. So see, if I was making it for you now, Dave, I just chop foot to it. So he's got one leg. So you can do it for things like that as well. It's just an adorable image of that teddy. Then we've got delivered safely. So this pack here you can fold up to make into like a small card if you want to. You've got your envelopes there. You've got your envelope there with the wax seal on, and you've got the stamp there as if you're sealing that wax seal. This I've been using as a pin, so you can pop that through the tag. You've got the mat and layers there for that, and you've got your mat and layer there. So you could use those as sentiments, and again, you know, you're such a usable set there because you will use it with other dies as well. Then we move on to our florals. Now, I adore these. I think that they are absolutely beautiful, and one of the things I love about them is they look realistic. You've got elements there, so like you've walked down in the morning and you can see some of the petals or some of the flower heads have fallen off, and it's just that attention to detail for me that just makes these stand out. I love the fact they're all placed on something as well, so you've got that grounding element straight away, so it's never going to look like a floating vase. It's grounded. You've got that grounding element there, and you've also got decoupage there to pop onto these. Now these coordinate with the DL cards, so if you're looking at these, the flowers in these do coordinate in with them, and I will show you them in a minute. So those are the Dafter. We need to find out, Kat, can you have a look and tell us what flowers these are? It'll say on the website.
To me they look like gerberas, but I might be wrong. Or maybe you could say on Facebook. Oh yeah, Kat's saying they look like gerberas to who's.
So you've got another one here, and you can see these ones are stacked on that book, and it's even got like that little tilt, as if it's just been placed there and it's not quite straight. And again, you've got your petals, your floral heads there on the bottom. Really bright and cheerful one there. Now you do get the outside mat and layer for each one of these. So like the card that Dave showed just now, where the mat and layers have been used as a card base, you can do that with all three of them.
Daisies is the official description, but a gerbera is a kind of daisy, so I think it could be a bit of both really. Yeah, gerbera. Go with gerbera.
Well, I'm going to stick with daisy, what it says on the website. Right, then we go on to our tulips. So you have the heads there to decoupage up, and again, the attention to detail. Look, you've got the stand there, you've got the bow on the handle. They are just absolutely exquisite. You've got the foliage coming down the side, and it even flows perfectly as well. You've got so much detail in these. Now then we go on to our stacked shapes. Now Dave's already showed you some of the samples, and I think when you look at the samples for this, it really shows how different these can look in different ways. You can use it as a car base, and that could be a car base. You can add in the matten layers. Now these matten layers will fit there and there as well. So you could have just a matten layer, have a sentiment, have an image, card done. You could pop these onto this layer, make them into apertures, make windows into them. There is just so many different ways of using these. Look at these like your nesting dies. You've got a really unusual card shape that is going to draw your eye in, but then think of these as your nesting dies. So you can pop these to make apertures, use them as matten layers.
And it's
There's so many ways of using it.
It's exciting to work with something that's different, something that's totally new. It's going to stand out on a windowsill. It's going to stand out if you're on a table selling cards at an event or something like that. They're very, very unlike, well, they're unlike anything I've seen before. And you said before that you can use the smaller dies on these circles too, so you can have...
Yeah, and the squares, they're going to fit. So you could potentially matten layer up each section of the shape, and then you could just go like that. So you could easily just put sentiment, image, or matten layer them up. But essentially as well, you could just worry about if you're sat at home and you sometimes struggle with like larger cards or anything like that. This is a nice one because you're essentially, if you put a matten layer there with a sentiment, put a matten layer there, you could potentially only worry about this space. So that would be the only space that you actually need to go in and decorate, and the same on here.
Perfect.
Right, then our last one is the frame. Now there's so many ways of using this. Now we've showed you some where you can use it portrait, you can use it landscape. We've shown you samples where the design team have put multiples of them together, adding them in different ways. You've got your stand here, so this is going to go on the back to actually stand the frame up. And then you've got the corner pieces, which are so ornate. I think you will use these in other projects as well. But think of if you do memory books, scrapbooking, anything like that. You can use these as little frames, like we said, to put sentiments in. You could put pictures in here of people that you're sending your cards to. So there's so many different ways of actually building these up. Now that's everything in the Beautiful Bundles collection. So we're going to move on to the DL.
Now the Beautiful Bundles, remember, 45% had gone in one live show that we did earlier at 10 o'clock this morning. So if you want to go for that, please do. If you'd rather or want to go for maybe the Beautiful DLs as well as the main collection. Now this is a real kind of warning sign. We've got 3/4 of the stock gone, so we've only got 25% left. So these may not make it through today, let alone tomorrow.
I hope so, otherwise...
I know, what are you going to do?
what am I going to do? Right, okay, so this one first. Now this one is the daisies.
Yep.
So you can see you've got those corner elements already cut out. Cut out. So you've got an unusual shape again straight away. Now one of the things I was saying, the pattern of this, get your paper puncher out, punch into that. You have got such a stunning tag if you put a little hole there to go on a gift bag or any, a big gift that you were giving.
And that smaller bit could be a tag.
A tag as well, yeah. So you can easily punch into that and you've got another tag. Now again, you could use these matten layers to mat up and pop your sentiment on there or decorate this part of your card. You could use those to make apertures into this and you can build those up. But there's so much detail into these and you do get those decoupage pieces as well. So if you want to cut this out and then maybe you want to stick the flowers down in a different colour to coordinate in with the other collection, you can absolutely do that. Then we go on to the daffodils. Now, and you can see a different shape again. So you've got your DL shape there, you've got your matten layers. I love this bit because it gives you that point of interest straight away. Your eye is drawn into those daffodils. And when you pop these together with the flowers in the collection, it really does just come to life. The fact they coordinate as well.
And daffodils are the gift that keep on giving. Every year, they just pop up when you forget you got them. There they are.
There they are. They just come up. And then we've got the tulips. Now, like Dave said, this is almost like a vase shape. It is so pretty. You could even pop the flowers coming out of the top of there if you wanted to and build them up around. But you've got that area there so you can pop your sentiment on, and actually looking at some of the design team samples as well, Some of them have used them upside down, on the side. There's no really right or wrong way of using these, depending on how you bring in your other elements and decorate these. They work so well using them.
Well, let me just show you a few of the design team samples here. Janine has done this one on the side, basically. That sounds a bit wrong, but you know what I mean. I'll just show you this one here. So here we go. Look, isn't that lovely? So it works landscape and portrait. Rather gorgeous. This one is in the more traditional portrait style. Very clean, very elegant. I love that kind of curved corner. Very smart indeed. And this one, this made me think it was maybe like a little nook under the stairs, because the teddy bear is beneath these layers, as you can see, which is really effective. So these are the ones that are in danger of selling out first, because 3/4 of the stock has gone. Quickly saying hello to some of you on Facebook this morning or this afternoon now. Suzanne Page says, hi Laura and Dave, back again. Snack and a posh coffee in hand after an hour of crafting and getting folder labels printed ready for the collection to arrive. It's very
Right.
organised.
I want to know what the posh snack is.
Posh coffee.
Oh, posh coffee.
Posh coffee.
I want to know what the posh coffee is.
Those posh coffees are about £5 or £6 each, aren't they? You know, those kind of Lucky Lattos ones. You know the ones I mean. Audrey Brown says, morning, ordered this fab bundle, probably be here tomorrow. Can't get over how quick your delivery is, second to none.
Yeah, normally by the second day we normally get, well actually didn't we get in the first show this morning, we had somebody message in to say that they'd ordered first thing this morning before we came on air, and they'd already had their
Order confirmation.
So they were waiting for dispatch. But we normally get the second day, either it's just arrived or they're waiting for the delivery man to deliver it now.
Just to let you know how it works here, we're actually broadcasting, the studio is in Carnation's head office, and the warehouse is just over that wall next to us here. And the order comes in, there's a team of people that work here that are so passionate about getting the order out as quickly as possible. I mean, if you've ordered in the last, 5-10 minutes, it's probably off the shelf in an envelope with your name and address on it now, ready for the postman to pick up at 2 o'clock. Linda McLeod says, good afternoon, Laura, Dave and Kat. I think this set is going on my wish list. Tulips are my favourite flower.
Oh, I mean, this is just a must-have if it's your favourite flower, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Treat
And just
yourself.
looking again at the collection, you can go for either one or the other, or you can go for both. But do whatever you do, don't miss out on the opportunity of putting the perfect papers in with your order as well, because all the colours that Nick and the team have tirelessly created for you, they match these papers with the artwork. And just a word about the artwork, in case you're not familiar with Carnation and how it works. If you buy the collection, Carnation will give you the artwork for free. There is no artwork for the Delightful DLs, because the idea behind them is to keep them plain, so that when you put the flowers in front of them, like a screen at the back, the flowers pop. If you've got like floral background and floral foreground, it's going to clash, it's going to look too busy.
They'll just blend into one, so you're not going to have anything at the front of your card.
So if you want to print off the artwork free of charge, all you've got to do is, if you're on the website carnationcrafts.co.uk, go to downloads, free downloads, and then the vignettes will be there. That's what we call the artwork vignettes. And you can print off all the artwork that you can see on the packaging free of charge. You can print it off 10 times, 100 times, 200 times, doesn't matter. And you'll also find backing papers on there as well, some of which we've used in the finished samples here. Like this one, for example, is an indication as to one of the backing papers, and they've been sourced and they've been designed to complement also the artwork. So as you can see there, that works brilliantly well. Just hold it up, there we go, look. There you go. How gorgeous is that? So the artwork's there and the background papers are there, and you've got single vignettes or double-sided vignettes if you want to print either. They're free as well. Okay, demo time then.
All right, so we're going to be using those DLs because I'm quite worried that they are going to go. So we're going to use the Daisy one. And I've just scored that in half, so you do get those outside mats and layers. So if you want to do something like this, where you can make it into your card base, you can absolutely do that. And that's what I'm going to do. So I've cut out the back panel in white. And then I'm going in with this lovely cream colour from the Perfect Papers, and this is the solid one.
So you do get fine lines and dots, don't you, as well?
Yes, you get like a line, you get the dotted, and you get the solid as well. But you get multiple, you get 2 sets of each. So you get, so like this cream, you'll get 2 in the solid colour, 1 in the stripe, and 1 in the dot, and then you'll get that repeated. So you'll end up with, you get double that for each colourway, which is nice because you know then you're not going to run out either.
Yeah, exactly.
And I like the patterns that they do in the Perfect Papers, because when you're doing a card, especially like Carnation, where you are putting a lot in the front of the card, and that is where you want that focal point to be. You don't want a background
No.
that is going to pull your eye into the background, because then it's just going to look too much. So we're going to go in now with a sheet of white cardstock next.
I'm so pleased you're loving this collection, by the way. So many of you've ordered it today. It didn't go live until this morning, did it?
No, it didn't. So it's been very, very popular. And then our next layers. So the next layer now, I've gone in with that same cream from the Perfect Paper, and you can see now that's going to sit on there, but the tag part that comes in the center, so those mask layers that you can layer up in the middle, I've used that outsider one to actually make an aperture into that layer.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, there's so many different ways of actually using these, because you, when you start adding dyes in like this to make an aperture, or you take away a layer, it just changes the look of it completely. So there are really so many different ways of actually using these.
You'll spend such a lot of time and fun time as well discovering the endless possibilities, how you can use them.
Yeah,
and that's
you'll
what
do
Nick and the
one.
team search to do, isn't it? They
Yeah,
look for variety.
yeah. You want something that you can use, and it's always the same like with the collections as well. You'll never see a carnation collection that you think, oh well, I'm only going to use that for that.
No.
There's always so many different ways of using the collections, and it's these you'll get it home, you'll make one card, and then you'll think, oh, I wonder what that will look like if I pop this into
Mhm.
it, or I wonder what it'll look like if I leave this dye out, or if I add this dye into it. And the lovely thing with that, from using the one dye, is you're going to have an abundance of different looking cards, but it's all from the same die set.
I've lost track of how many people over the years have said to me that I make Carnation Craft cards and they're always the first to sell. If you do buy, make to sell.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of you I know make for pleasure and donate to charity and give to friends and family, which is fine, obviously. But if you do make to sell and you want to catch people's eyes, you can rely on Carnation Craft cards to do that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Did you used to make and sell before you became a...
Yep, that's exactly what I used to do. So I used to do craft fairs and things, then then I joined design team
For Carnation, yeah.
for Carnation, yeah, and then I was kind of I was working in the craft industry, but it was kind of like behind the scenes. And then I started going into stores, which is so nice to see, the customers and see, what they actually want to know about products and, how they use them and things like that. And then from there, then I started demonstrating.
Did you make to order? Did people actually kind of commission you to do cards?
Yeah, and do you know what was always the most frustrating thing would be somebody, because I set up a Facebook group where I would post, cards and things that I'd made, and I could guarantee you somebody would message me and say, oh, I've seen this card, and they'd send me a screenshot. Can you make this card, but with like happy anniversary or happy birthday or some, the sentiment would be different. And I'd have to message them back and say, I'm sorry, I can't, because I've already made it. Like, I've only got one of them, so I can't do it again. Like, I could do something similar, but I can't do the same thing, which was always so frustrating, because
So
obviously
maybe
you want to do things
Nowadays,
like that.
it's an idea, if you are doing that, to maybe make a card, but don't put a sentiment on it until someone says that they want it, and then you can let them choose what sentiment you want.
Yeah, and especially as well with like some of the collections. I know last week, when I was with you, when we were on Hobby Maker, we had the alphabet die on there. I think more and more people want things to be more personal now, so it's just such a nice way to be able to do that.
I know lots of people go to crafting events and take their die cutting machine with them for that purpose, so you can personalise.
You can just pop whatever sentiment people want on that then, can't you? Right, so we've done that now. So I've done the exact same thing with the daisy one as well. So I've cut that out in white, and then the next layer, I've put the bigger layer in there to give me that aperture. So I've still got that matte layer around there. And now, looking at that in cream and white like that, if I just popped happy anniversary or happy engagement or happy wedding,
Or save the date.
save the date, that would work so well, wouldn't it? Like
And
that.
if a professional stationer had developed that for you, they'd charge you a fortune for that.
Yeah, and do you know what? You could even print. Like you could print a verse or you could print the details or anything in there.
Yeah.
And then if you did that, all you'd have to do is just cut that with that size die to pop it into there. So instead of you trying to work out where you're cutting it, you could just cut that and pop that in there.
That could be the most impressive invitation I think anyone would receive.
It's so delicate though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Really,
love it.
really pretty. That is one that you would open and be like, wow. So, right, let's...
The thing
Pop.
is, with an invitation as elaborate as that, as posh as that, the expectations
On the
for
wedding.
the reception will be huge. That's the only thing.
I was going to say. But, well, I mean, it's the excuse then, though, dear, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, so we're going to pop our daisies. I'm sticking with daisies, Dave.
Okay. You're probably right. This is Pinflair glue, by the way, the glue gel, which you'll find on our website. And just for my benefit, Laura's using the Tuesday PVA glue from the 7 bottles that we've got on our website as well.
I'm doing good, Dave.
You're doing very good.
Right, so we're going to go in. Now, I've got a couple of different elements here. So you can see now we've popped the daisies down. We've got the teddy and we've got some of the envelopes as well. So we're mixing this one up. And obviously we've got the DL there as well. So we're going in for a mix with this. So I'm going to pop him. I'm just going to place him there a minute so I know where he's going.
I was talking to a friend of mine, seeing these letters reminded me, a friend of mine the other day is clearing out her father-in-law's house. He sadly got to go into a care home. And she found old love letters between him and his wife going back decades and decades. I mean, how sweet is
I
that?
found, I remember when we were clearing up my nan's house, letters, and actually my other grandparents as well, because my grandfather fought in the war. So there was letters there that they'd sent
Oh, wow.
each other from the war, and it was just like, oh. So yeah, I've still there somewhere. I think they're in my dad's attic now. But yeah, there's just certain things you just can't.
No, you'd never ever get rid of those.
You can't get rid of them, can you?
Wouldn't want to.
No. So we're going to pop him now. On there like that. So we got that there. And then, right, let's pop these flowers on first.
I love the fact that this is a really versatile collection because obviously you've got a nod to a newborn with the rattle and the teddy bear and the little booties and things like that. But really that's it. The rest of it is spring and kind of uplifting, new beginning, positivity again. We've had a few collections like that recently, haven't we? And this is another one of them. But if you do want to have that kind of really cutesy new baby feel, the teddy kind of comes into play then.
Yeah, and I don't think he looks, you know, like sometimes you can have images obviously that have been designed specifically for baby cars.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like he looks, I don't look at him and think he's made for baby cars.
No.
Do you know, I think you could do them, you know, you could use him for children's cards or even for somebody, you know, who's sentimental, who, you know, who still likes teddies. You know, there's just so many different ways. He looks, he almost looks like antique-y.
Yeah, it
more
does.
than baby, if you know what I mean.
Collectors, like
Yeah,
a collectible bear.
just looks cute, doesn't he?
I know some people do collect bears. They've got huge collections.
Yeah.
Some of them worth a fortune. The old Steiff bears and that sort of thing. You know those Steiff bears?
No.
Oh, it's one of the most famous bears in the world, I think.
Oh. No. No. I have no clue. I'll have to have a look, Dave. I'll have a look before the next show.
Okay.
Oh, you won't be here anyway.
No, I'm off after this one.
I'll have a look by Thursday.
All right. Okay.
Right, so the pin. Now, I've been using this because as soon as I seen it, what I thought was the stand that people put in flowers.
Yeah.
And then you have the note on. So that's what came to my mind. So I have been using it almost like that. So it looks like one of the
I think
stands
that's the way it's supposed to. Yeah, that looks great.
to hold your note or your message. And then this is one of the tags. obviously from the same set. So I'm going to pop that there. And then
There we go.
lift that up.
That's using one of the DLs, of course, the Delightful DLs. You get 3 sets of Delightful DLs with the matting and layering dies as well. And they are the ones that are probably going to sell out the first. They're only $49.99. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you've got about 16, 17 dies in there. I haven't counted them all, but there's a lot in there. And if DL-shaped cards are your favourite, this is DL with a twist. That's got the curve out of the corner. The other one, that's the same length, is more like a vase shape, and then the other is the traditional rectangular. But they're really, really lovely. $49.99, and 75% of the stock of those is gone. It's 250407. Back to the main collection though for a second. What's just kind of jumped to my mind is I love the picture frames, because very rarely, if ever, have you sent, or have I sent, a picture frame with a picture in the post. Maybe you have once in a while, but it's not something I'd think of doing because of the glass and the postage, maybe not a thing to do. But here you've got the dies that will cut out 2 different sizes of picture frame. And when you see how effective they are as a card, it's a picture and a card all in one. If I just put them here, just to show you a few of them, I think because we were so taken away with the squares and the circles earlier, the stacked shapes, we kind of glossed over the frames a little bit, but these are really, really cute. And you can put 3 together. I had a question in the earlier show, how is that done? Well, what we think Janine's done here is she's put another strip of card going across the back, and then put another back over the top of it, so it's linked the 3 frames together, leaving a little bit of a gap so that they fold in a little bit. But that is adorable. I mean, that is something that never ever would need to be put back in a drawer. It just stays out on a windowsill or something like that. And you choose the picture that you put in there. It could be an actual picture of a pet, a young baby, a photograph maybe that you found that you'd forgotten you'd even got. If, like me at the moment, you're moving house and you're rummaging through stuff, you're finding things that you'd forgotten you'd even got. I mean, I found this, my bracelet the other day. This was given to me by my other half about 20 years ago.
Aww.
And about 10 years ago, we got burgled. And I thought this was stolen in the burglary, but I found it because I'm packing up things. It fell out of a book.
Oh, that was a nice surprise.
But you do, when you're sorting things out, you find things. So there you go. You can use them in that way. And then let's show you some of the other more unusual frames, which is really what caught all of our eyes earlier. Barbara Treadwell's made that one. But when I looked at it, first thing I thought with the new baby angle, I thought, oh, tumbling blocks, building blocks, possibly. Here again with some more. This is the circles. I'm going to grab another one with the circles over here, because this is using the layers on all 3 of the circles. Vera has gone overboard with that, and I love it. Look, all those different steps, all those different layers on that with the flowers in the front. That could be a gorgeous Easter card, but not just for Easter all year round, but certainly for spring. Bright, cheerful, the sun's out, our mood's up, and so of course are the interest in the collections as well. Another one from Vera here, using one of the picture frames. And by the way,
that's nice.
it's lovely, isn't it? And when you are printing off your artwork, the vignettes, do remember you are going to get the artwork for the brackets for the corner of your photo frames as well. They even give you that. The only thing that doesn't have artwork, we did get questions about that earlier on, are the Delightful DLs, because if I show you again one of the DLs quickly, the whole point about the DL is that it's a background. So if, for example, you had artwork for the background of the DL, and then you had the flowers from the main collection on the front, it would all be too much. You wouldn't be able to differentiate between what is the vase of flowers and what's the actual background. So the background's been deliberately left plain. Whether you choose to do it in white or whether you choose to use the perfect papers, that's another option. But as long as it's like a block colour, it makes the rest of those flowers really, really stand out. And here's another one, look, with the DLs. Lovely, aren't they? So, just to recap the main details then, it's $99.99. You can use ClearPay or PayPal Pay in 3 if you want to interest-free spread the cost. Most of you just pay outright for it, which is absolutely fine, of course. It's £99.99 today. It's going to go up by 20% to $119.99 on Friday, if we have any stock by then. And this is the first day of launch, so it's hot off the press. You'll be one of the first people in the world to own this die collection, which is called, of course, Beautiful Bundles. And if you've ordered it already today, it's being picked up this afternoon. You might even get it as early as tomorrow. We can't guarantee, obviously, what your postal service is like where you live, but certainly it'll leave us at 2 o'clock this afternoon or thereabouts. And then the other bundle is the Delightful DLs. They're the ones we're really worried about, because they have, at the start of this show, sold 3/4 of its stock, and you get the regular rectangle, regular. There's nothing regular about that. That's gorgeous. You get the cut-out corners and you get the vase shape as well. All the mats and layers are included too. You get the decoupage elements as well to give it dimension. They're stunning, and that's probably going to be the first one to sell out, and that's 250407. If you want them together, fine. That'll be free P&P. The main collection is free P&P because you're spending over £50. And again, just to show you what you're getting with the boards again.
Right, so we start off with babies first. So you've got that baby, like I said, so many different ways of using this. It's not overly cute, so I think you can use it for toddler cards as well, or even, you know, like we said, people who collect bears, things like that. It's got that kind of antique-y look about it. But you've also got the baby blanket, the rattle, and those little boots as well, which I just think those are absolutely adorable.
Yeah.
There's nothing cuter than baby shoes. See baby shoes in a shop and I'm just like, oh, I just want to buy them just because they're so cute.
Well, I went into a toy store for the first time, I think, in my adult life, because a friend of mine had a baby a couple of years ago. Wanted to get him a Christmas present. Went into a toy store. I was like a kid in a candy shop. I was like, oh my wow, this is amazing. I got my little ball that plays a tune and stuff, and it's the first thing he asks for in the morning now when he wakes up. So good choice. I was well chuffed.
Yeah, I always think when you go to toy shops, you're like, oh, I feel they had toys like this when I was a
know,
kid, and then you feel really old, and you're like, oh no. Right, so next one is our delivered safely. So you can see now, this is the one that we used just now. So you've got the pin, you've got the stamp for that seal. You have the envelope there with the seal on. You've got your stack of envelopes there tied up. You've got this one that has a score line in, so you can use that as a small card to mix in with these. Then you've got your tags, and you've got your oval there that you can use for your sentiments and things as well. Then we go on to our florals. Now these are the daffodils, and like Dave said, these coordinate in with those DLs as well. So if you want to mix and match these, they do coordinate perfectly. But you can see you do have matte and layers there. So if you want to use these matte and layers and just make a card out of that, there's absolutely nothing stopping you doing that. Now you do get the decoupage elements in the florals as well for the flower heads, like you can see there for the daisies. You've got the stack there as well that the vase sits on. But what I love about these is the attention to detail of those flower heads, and you have petals at the bottom of the vase, like it's been there for a couple of days, like we all know, and then you come down in the morning and you can see you've got some petals that have fallen over, which I just think is absolutely stunning.
And
that attention to detail
what
is
other
amazing.
designer would have thought of that? You know,
Yeah.
that's carnation through and through, isn't
Yeah,
it?
absolutely. And then we go on to our stacked shapes. Now, there's so many different ways of using these. I know David showed you some of the samples where you can see the design team have used them as mass and layers. They've used them as the card shapes. They've used them onto cards. They've used the mass and layers on their own. You can use these to make apertures in. I mean, there's an endless possibility of ways of using these.
I didn't see this one until I turned around. It was on the stand behind me, but that's using it, cutting as an aperture. And it also shows you that with the vignettes, you've got a left and a right, because it's double-sided vignettes.
Yeah, there's just so many different ways of using them. And like you say, like in the earlier show, Dave said, because obviously we were talking about baby, that he's seen that one and thought of like building blocks, which you could easily do for a baby card and things like that. The circle one, you know, I said I saw bubbles straight away. So like there's just so many different ways.
I
and
saw champagne, which says a lot about me.
different things that you put with it as well is obviously it's going to change the look of it even more. And then we go on to the frames. Now these are stunning. You've got your large and small frame there. You've got the corner bits, which are very ornate, that will just go on the corners. And then you've also got the back as well to actually stand that photo frame up. And then we're going to go on to our DLs. So you can see this is the daisy one where you've got those corners cut out. You've got that centre bit there to matte and layer up like this, or you can use it like we did in the demo we just done and use it as an aperture. Then we've got our daffodils then, so you can see they're bringing those in, and we've seen samples with these use landscape and portrait as well, so you can mix and match those up. And then we go on to the tulip, which I love the shape of that, because I think it's something really unusual. You don't normally see that card
the shape of the tulip works well with the shape of the card blank, doesn't it?
Yeah, and like you've got the tulips there, and that makes me think of a flower vase straight away from looking at it. So they work very, very well.
So remember, if you want the collections, they're split into two to make it more affordable for you. A lot of you are going for both, actually, because they are made to match and go together because the flowers match with the main vases and so on. So a lot of you going for that, but if you just want one, if finances don't permit you to go for both, the main collection, $99.99, you'll come up with your own ways of using the stack shapes. I'm sure there must be dozens, if not hundreds of ways of using them, because all of those dies, the circular ones, will work on the two smaller circles. The square dies in the middle will work on the outside and the top square as well. So the design permutations you can do with it are virtually endless. There's so many ways of using them. And of course you make frames with the aperture dies and with the nesting dies. You make apertures with them obviously as well. So that's the main collection at $99.99. Very busy for that, 250401. The DL Delights or Delightful Delights, Delightful DL, sorry. All three of those for $49.99, isn't it? $49.99 for that. That's at the start of the show, 3/4 stock gone. So that is 250407. And to round it all off, to complete your collection, if you're going for all of it, why not treat yourself to the fantastic Perfect Papers? 300 GSM cardstock, you get 48 sheets. And remember, these sheets are, actually, Laura said earlier on, she always keeps the Perfect Papers with the collection because they're designed to go together. All the artwork colours that you print off from our website free of charge, they're going to be complemented by the colours that are in this collection with the dots and the stripes and the block colour as well. So for another $14.99, it just makes your collection work even better, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, and you've got those perfect colour matches there then, so you don't have to go looking for that perfect shade of green or the pink. You know, they're going to work perfectly together. And you've got the solids, the stripe and the dots in there as well. So even if you want to use like a thicker matte layer to get some pattern or get some colour in, you've got that in there as well.
Well, Suzanne says, absolutely stunning card, Laura. There you
Oh,
go.
thank you.
Brilliant. Well, time for another demo, I think.
Yes.
We're here till 1 o'clock, and then we're back at 2 o'clock with another show. I'm not, but you are. And then tomorrow there's a show at 10, 12 and 2 as well. So 6 shows in total. Stop permitting. That's the thing. It's going fast.
I don't know what I'm going to do because I've got so many demos with the deal.
I don't know if this is all the stock we've got. It probably is. I don't know.
I think so.
Maybe we can nick some from Hobby Maker.
Well, you said that, not me. So that's what we'll do. Right. So.
Only joking.
Right, let's make our cards. So now I'm going to use the frame and I'm going to use it on a card, okay? So I'm going to go in with some craft card and then I'm going to go in with that lovely cream from the Perfect Papers. So you do have a variety in there because I think with the creams, the pinks and the greens, I feel like you've got your bases covered straight away, and it's such lovely cardstock as well, so it'll die cut perfectly. Obviously it's 300 GSM, so it's heavy enough if you want to use it for your card bases too, or even just your matte layers like this. You know you've got that perfect colour coordination going on.
And don't forget, of course, if you are ordering on our website, which is the preferred way to order, obviously, that is the only way to order, really. While you're there, have a little look around at everything else that's for offer on the website. Things like your glue, your everyday glue, the Pinflair glue gel you'll find on there, tiny lights, glue applicators, tape. There's all sorts there. It's not just what we show you on TV. So have a little look and see what else takes your fancy. Take advantage of the free P&P.
Yeah, absolutely. If ever I order and I get to the free P&P, you know, that's always when I add in like foam tape or glue or do you know the things you know you're going to need soon, but you don't want to pay the P&P on. Right, so I'm using the larger frame, so you can see I've cut my frame out. Now I've done this beforehand, but I've cut out the frame in craft card, and then I've cut it out again using Elevate. So, and then I've pulled the center part out, so you can see that the outside of the frame is raised. So I've used Elevate on that, okay. Now I've cut it out again then in that same cream from the Perfect Papers.
Using craft card makes it look like a wooden frame, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I just think, you know, and then cut it out in mirror card and it's going to look
like a metal frame.
Like a metal frame, and it's going to change the look of it completely. Cut it out in black and go over it with gilding wax, and it's going to, you know, there's just so many ways of using it. And obviously the different ways that you put it as well is going to change the look of it. So I'm just going to make sure that's pushed in because I do want that frame to stand out. So you've got that there like that now. And then I've done the exact same thing with the lighter shade of the cream. So you can see now that is going to sit in the middle
That's
there, so you can
really
see
classy,
the two
combining those
different
two
ways.
together.
They work really well, don't they? And this is it. I haven't had to go thinking or looking for two shades that are going to work together, because obviously they're in the perfect paper. So
Mhm.
that is going to sit there like that. Right, so I've got my frame, and obviously I've got my card as well. So I'm going to pop that on there. So I wanted to use it like a matte and layer to go onto a card.
I love those colours together.
They work really well,
They
don't
do
they?
work really well.
So I'm going to raise this up, and then we're going to pop in the corners onto the frame, because I think those corners just make the whole frame just pop that bit more. It really does draw your eye in.
Oh, by the way, we're always being asked what paper we recommend for printing out the artwork. Obviously, all of the design team use ProPrint. That's what we recommend, and that's what we have on our website. So if you are new to Carnation and you want to get the best out of your artwork that's free to print off, ProPrint paper will be on the website, so that's what we recommend. I don't know why, but it just seems to make the colours pop more. I don't know, just shows the artwork off to its best.
Yeah, it's the fibres. It's the fibres in the cardstock.
Right.
So they're like really, really. You imagine like, you know, like sometimes you'll get clothes, and if you spill something on it, sometimes the drop will just bleed out, and then other times you can drop something and it just stays there like a little drop.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing. The fibres in the ProPrint are like really, really close together.
Right.
So when the ink hits it, it can't bleed out.
So it sits on the
So-
top.
so
That's
it-
why you get vibrant.
Yeah,
light.
so that's why you get that vibrant colour. And in doing that as well, you use less ink from your ink pad, but it's just got nowhere to bleed out to. So that's why you get that really rich colour, because when it hits it, it doesn't move.
And also, do a little bit of a before and after yourself when you get ProPrint
Oh,
paper home.
absolutely.
Print something off on copier paper or ordinary paper that you use at the moment, and then do one on ProPrint, the same thing, and compare the two. You'll be amazed. You really will.
Right. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself now. Right, so let's pop these in. Now, these, I just think they are something special.
They are cute.
Even if you do memory books, scrapbooking, even just popping those on an actual photo that you're popping down onto your memory book, your scrapbook, these are just you're gonna use these so much. I think they are absolutely beautiful. And I'm gonna pop these along these corners. Now, even though I've done this in craft card, it still works. So even if you were cutting this frame out in mirror card, or you were going in and making it a gold card, there's just so many different ways that you can actually use these, and they just work really, really well. But I loved the one as well, that one of the design team members, I can't remember who did it, but they put these bits on the inside. So, you know, you don't have to use them on the actual frame.
That one?
You can use them on the inside. Oh, it wasn't that one, but that's another one, so that's a nice way of showing it.
There we go, like that. That's sweet, isn't it? It's a card and a picture in one. And that's a bit
That's
of
so
acetate in there to make it look
Oh,
like
do
glass.
you know what would be so sweet? Can you imagine giving that to somebody with like the time they were born and their weight
Yeah.
in there? You
Yeah,
can,
like it.
that'd be cute.
And then put another frame next to it with a picture of the baby.
And do you know what? Actually, that would be so nice as well to give to somebody, maybe who is in hospital, because you could have that. They could have that by their bedside, which looks absolutely lovely. Because you're not allowed to take flowers into hospital
No,
anymore.
not anymore. No.
So, like, that would be so nice. Right, so I've popped them on now, so you can see. Let me turn my card the right way around.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I
Looking
could
good.
use that either way as well.
Yep.
There's no right or wrong on which way you're going to use that. So we're going to add in our vase next. So this is going to sit along the side like that. And then I've got these as well. I've got an extra corner there. Right, so I'm going to pop this there.
And if you wanted to add shape, you'd probably notice actually with carnation dies, they give you so much detailed cut lines in things like flowers and in characters as well. So if you want to shape a character to make it round, if you want to shape a petal to give it dimension, you can easily do that with your ball tools.
Yeah, they work really, really well, don't they? You never get that resist. Sometimes when you die cut something and then you put your ball tool on it, or you want to shape, and you can see the card will start creasing because
yeah,
you're really,
there's no cut lines in it.
yeah, it doesn't want to do what you want it to do. You'll never ever get that. So let's pop that on there. And I got another one here.
That could be for any occasion, absolutely any occasion.
Yeah, you can really go in and mix and match these up, can't you? And you can just change them up. But this could be like it could be absolutely anything, couldn't it? Because you could use them for, you know, bring those teddies in and make them for. But do you know what? Even my little girl, she's 6, and I'd give her a card with a teddy and flowers on.
Mm.
They just work for so many different occasions.
Well, Kat, our director and producer, said she'd like a card with a teddy bear on it. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
You never go out of teddy bears, I don't think.
No, there's just certain.
I think when you
Certain
buy a teddy bear
things.
for, if you've got a child yourself, I mean, half of it's for the child and half of it's for yourself, I think.
Yeah.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, my little girl's got a teddy that she's not. So I bought her a teddy from a shop in London. So you'll know what shop
I know what
it
shop,
is.
yeah.
Yeah. It was the bear of that year.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm going to get her that. She's not allowed to touch it. She's not allowed to go anywhere near it because she has to keep it. Because I'm like, oh, but no, it's a keep
an heirloom,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a
yeah.
keep thing. It's not a play
Not a
thing.
play bear.
Yeah, so she's got a teddy bear that she's not allowed to touch. She's got other teddy bears that she plays with. Okay,
Okay.
I'm not completely mean, but that one is like, no, you keep that.
She'll thank you for that in 20, 30 years' time.
So she's got that. Yeah, it sits on the top of her wardrobe and it's not allowed to be touched.
Yeah, I bet that bear will keep both its legs. Unlike
It better
mine.
had. Right, so I've got someone special that I've cut out. So these are our sentiment dies, and then I've popped. Now I wanted you to be able to see the background, the frame. So I didn't want to take away from that, but obviously I need you to see the sentiment as well. So I've popped this on the mat on a sheet of vellum.
I thought that
So
was
I've,
vellum. That
yeah,
looks
so
really
I've cut
lovely.
that out in vellum, so you can see, you still see the colour coming through.
Yeah.
But it still gives you enough of a block that you can see the sentiment, and then I'm going to pop that there like that. So it's still readable, but I'm not covering all that lovely artwork. I want you to be able to see all that in the background. Now, if I was doing this at home, because I know I tend to use vellum and acetate a lot, and I'll always get questions about it. So, like, if I was doing this at home, I'd leave that dry first to make sure whether that glue completely sits onto that vellum. But obviously, we don't have time for that, so I'm just going to stick this
So
down.
it takes longer to dry on vellum, does it? Because it's not absorbent. Is that
Yeah, there's nothing there for it to absorb into. So
Right.
it doesn't take a long time, but it's just like this might be okay. This probably will be okay, but it's just because it's getting wet as well. It's like it wants to like curl up. So I always just tend to leave it and then stick it down. So, and especially if I'm putting it on something like this, so it's not flat. Like if it was going down flat, it wouldn't matter so much because you've got that straightening
Oh,
up
Laura, that's
anyway.
stunning. Love it.
But
There we go.
so you've got somebody special.
Absolutely. I just got a couple to show you. Oh, I've just heard that we're approaching limited stock for the delightful DLs. What that means is just over 10% of the stock only remains. So if you want the delightful DLs, we're going to put the details up on the screen for you. This is what you're going to get. All 3 sets in different shapes. So they're all the same size, same height. But you've got the conventional rectangular square DL. You've got the corner cut design, which is rather lovely. That could be made into a tag. Any of these could be made into tags without any problem. And then you've got what we've been describing as almost like the vase-shaped oval. They are tulips, they are daisies, and they are your daffodils. Okay, they're absolutely gorgeous with all mats and layers as well. So we're just not quite limited stock, but very nearly limited stock. $49.99 gets you these. They are very traditional carnation. They've got a lovely carnation feel about them. So if you're a traditionalist, that's why I'm sure these are proven to be so popular. But don't forget, they will perfectly, seamlessly work with the main collection as well, which is above. And what you get in that main collection is something very, very different, which I love. And they can be used, again, portrait or landscape. The stacked shapes here are really lovely. Don't think you can only have the nesting, the mats and layers on one of the circles, because that's where the dies are. They will work in each of the 3 apertures, as will the squares work in each of the 3 apertures. And you've got matting and layering dies, nesting dies with those as well for the outside shapes. So potentially, I reckon there must be a couple of dozen ways, if not more, of using those.
Yeah, it's one of those that you'll get a hub and you'll instantly, from looking at the design team's cards, you'll instantly want to go, this is what I'm going to do, and you're going to use it in one way, and as soon as you do that, you're going to think, oh, actually, I'm going to do it this way next.
Yeah.
And every time you make a card, then it's just going to spark a different idea, because, and especially like we said, using them as apertures in a card as well, you can change the angle of them. You can use them portrait or landscape. There's no right or wrong with these.
You could use the circles in the squares and the squares in the circles if you wanted to.
Yeah, you could, absolutely.
Bring the changes. No one's done that here, but you could do that. I think it would look all right. If I just put these here side by side, you can see 3 different ways of using them. Or 2 different ways of using them. Using them as an aperture to start off with, and then using them as the cutouts and then lay it up. So really, really lovely. I saw building blocks when I first saw those because of the teddy, but you may see something else. You may see piled presents. It could be anything.
You could use them for Christmas.
Stacked up presents.
Stacked up presents for Christmas. Oh.
So then you get the elemental blooms. So these beautiful displays of your spring-like flowers. Again, daisies, daffodils, tulips. They're really, really lovely. And you get the decoupage elements there as well. Over here, you've got the delivered safely. So that's the wrapped up, possibly love letters. You've got the single letter. You've got the wax seal stamp as well. The little tag to put the message on. Above that, you've got the teddy bear, the rattle, and also the 2 little booties, which are really cute, in the baby grow blanket. But another thing, an unsung hero in the collection that I didn't really kind of spend much time talking about earlier on, but they're great. They are card picture frames. So you can make your own card picture frames, make them into little books if you want to, do them portrait or landscape. You've got the little brackets that go on the side, and all of the artwork for that and all of this is free to print off right now from carnationcrafts.co.uk. Just a quick word about the delightful DLs. There is no artwork for that because the whole purpose of the DLs is to act as a background, so you can put then these wonderful colourful flowers on that. If they were coloured, and they were coloured, it would all just kind of blend into one. It wouldn't look right. So use either a plain white or any of the perfect papers with the delightful DLs, and they will work with the flowers beautifully. Remember, there's another show coming up with Laura this afternoon at 2 o'clock. I will see you on Hobby Maker later on from 5. And there are 3 shows tomorrow.
3 shows tomorrow, yes.
10, 12 and 2. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your collection. If you order it now, it should be in the post by 2. See you soon.